Hey man, what's up?
What's up?
It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. So we're just ready here to chat a little retro with you guys. We were a little late because we talked for like 30 straight minutes. And we were like, oh, we should probably hit the button, right? Start
Right,
this
right,
show. This is probably people waiting.
right,
That's all
right.
right. Because this is how it rolls. Because this is calling all retro gamers. Let's go.
Yeah.
Calling all retro gamers.
Calling all retro gamers!
Calling all retro gamers!
Calling
all retro gamers!
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Calling All Retro Gamers, the semi-weekly show that is literally just the excuse for me and Ed to come in and hang out and talk, and then sometimes forget to hit the actual go live button. But yeah, I mean it's been a little bit. Like we're still in the afterglow of the last show. That was an awesome interview hangout with Super Mega Graphics 64 Psy. It was good. It was a good interview. It was cool. But this tonight, it's just us. We're just chatting here with you guys in the chat. So make sure you're in there. You're putting out your thoughts in the chat. We'd love to talk to you. I got some cool stories. Some stuff that has been happening in the world of retro. So a lot of stuff that I've actually made news stories on and that kind of thing. Just kind of want to chat with Ed and see what his takes are on that kind of stuff, and then we can just get into it with everybody else.
Yeah. So before we get to that, and it's funny because I feel like I threaten this every single time that we're gonna change the intros because I hate that because it's just I don't know. It was just like
we really we do have to do it.
So it's really bad because I looked like in our folder of like new intros. We have to add EMC Murr. We have to add scruffy looking RGB who hasn't even been a guest. I've done like a collaboration with him in the past, but he made like an intro like a long time ago. And then we have Super Graphics Effects. And I think that's before we started asking people. Like that's why I know we don't have Retro Ralph. I should ask him sometime. But but yeah, I know we keep wanting to change that up. And I'm like, I really need to do that. I mean, on the Evercade Effect, I need to change my trailer there too. I hate looking at that every time I go to the community tab. So
we all have to refresh and do things and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, it is good fun, and it was from the very beginning. It was one of the things we were trying to do. So
yes.
We should get doing that.
Wow.
What's up, Panda?
It's freaky that you're here because we were just talking about being guests on your show and all that other.
That's right. Yeah, that was actually the 15-minute diversion right before at 9:15 through 9:30 was all talking about the Master Debater show from Panda Sub 2000.
Oh, in honor of you, I have to do this.
You got your boy Phoenix.
He's like, don't you dare get rid of me from the intro. Never.
No.
You're going to be in there.
We're just
going to try to find a way of just cramming everyone. We'll try to figure it out. But we gotta say hi to this chat though, because a lot of people are here.
Go for it.
We got Fan of Fiction, which is awesome. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Chris Westerman in the house. What's going on? And Karsten is also in the house there. But I'm just saying, repping big, strong, Good Times Club energy in the chat. I'm very excited about this. You guys are awesome, by the way. Thank you. And then, of course, we are doing pretty well, actually. This week was great. Just don't ask me about last week at all, please. Goodness, man. That was the worst. I think it might have been like outside of a very few circumstances. Two of them that actually ended with me in the hospital. So that's real bad. It's real. Wow. When you end up in the hospital, it's bad. But only this is the third time in my work life that I have felt that much stress. Because it's never good to be the only one in the technology department.
No, dude. I didn't even know about that. I mean, basically, we had to put off the show because you're like, I got have a server that needs to be repaired, and I got to
the server that needed to be repaired was straight up down. I got a call from from somebody that was in our central office. So it's like this is the top administration of where I work, right? And they're like, oh yeah, I can't get into our finance software. And I'm like, okay, then it's fine. I'll just go and we'll fix it and we'll fix your connection because it's probably like, your terminal, network connection, whatever, right? And then it was like, no, it's actually just dead. The server's just gone. And I'm like, what? I'm like, oh man, like the whole, like that's your DC, right? DHCP, DNS, all all sorts of acronyms floating around for people that are in the IT world. They're just done, and I'm like panicking. I'm like, oh my goodness. So, you have your palpitation moment, and then you calm yourself, and then you go, all right, cool. Well, let's break out the list. These are the emergency recovery steps. Do you have your backup? Yes. Can you get your backups? Yes. Can you get your stuff up and running? Yes. Can you spin up something in the cloud? Yes. And then everything calms down. Everyone's fine. Everyone's happy now. Right. But oh yeah, no, Karsten, not this time. I didn't go to the hospital this time. But if we want to talk about, actually, this is directly game related, so we could calling all retro gamers this. So I used to work for GameStop. I was a GameStop store manager. And the other 2 times in my working career. So you want to hear it was like, oh, how is it? Is it just cool to be a GameStop store manager? Well, I did go twice to the hospital while being employed by GameStop. No. That is no joke. It is absolutely no joke. They had me on a stint where it was that holiday time where it was a night shift. It was a day shift that turned into a day and night shift. So that was a double shift because I'm the only, as a store manager, you are responsible. If a key holder calls out and you can't get another one, you're the key holder. You have to close. So that's the way it works. So was that then led into an overnight inventory prep for the store, into another inventory at another store the next morning, which led into me having to come back and opening the building. And by the time all that happened, I didn't have enough time to do anything like eat or sleep or any of that stuff. I got real dehydrated. And by the end of that shift, on that second day, I felt so bad that I just basically collapsed in the break room in the back. And then the key holder was there. Was like, you don't look so good. I'm like, I don't feel good. So I wound up having to get my wife, and then she drove me to the hospital. Jeez. And then I was down. I was down for the count for another 2 days, and I came back, and because this is how it works, man. I came back, and my district manager yelled at me.
Welcome to America, everybody. And may I point out too, because
thanks,
you were a manager too, it was you were salary, so I mean, at least you weren't getting paid anymore to do all.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's like, oh, thanks, man. I used to work for Software Etc. Phantom and Walden. Oh man, I love those stores. I loved going to those stores. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say that my entire experience at GameStop was not good. I'm just saying that there were times where you had the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, because there were some times where in my store team, and we had craziest times in the store sometimes, because it'll get really there's that lull, that lull where no one walks into the store. It's nothing else is really coming out, but then you'll get the email, and the email will be like, oh hey, we got codes because there's new games going to come out, and do you want to check it out that night or whatever, and it's enough for you and your 2 key holders or whatever, and maybe a couple GAs. And then you get a LAN, almost like a online LAN party going, because they're all usually multiplayer games that you get these codes for, and they're like, oh yeah, let's go. So then you close the store, we all go home, and then we're playing all night long, and then you get to work next morning, you're just talking about what you saw, and then you get everybody hyped at the store about the game or whatever. That's fun. That's the fun stuff. Nice. When they send you to places like Las Vegas and San Antonio and Orlando, that's also pretty fun. So that's not let us. You would think that that's a severe comparison, but it's probably not. It's probably
Forgive us for not reading that. I don't want the algorithm to.
Yeah, I mean it's oh man, the upper management really, and it's like this everywhere, right?
So actually, some interesting
the upper management everywhere is like crazy.
GameStop, I mean, some of it the joke is on them because things like Paper Mario and some of those other games, like a lot of those I bought like used. Keep in mind this was like what 10 plus years ago, and they were only like $20-$25. But so here's what interesting about games. So the company that I work for now, like 10 plus years again, when I was in tech support, I don't know, like maybe Microsoft, I don't was a customer or something, and so they just said, hey, here's, I think at the time it was like Xbox 360. Said, hey, here's some extra games or whatever. I don't know. And somebody jokingly said, oh, these are probably games that Microsoft doesn't want. And I forget what they were. Keep in mind that they were like sealed. And I think I think maybe they might have. I think anyways, my point is, I think when I went to trade one of them in because I wasn't an Xbox kind of guy. I think. I don't think I think maybe they gave me like $1 or $2. I kid you not. I think maybe looked up they retailed for 10, but I was just like, really a sealed game at that time. I know it wasn't the greatest.
Oh yeah.
But I was just like, but I can remember getting way back getting the Final Fantasy 7 for PS1 because I wanted to play. I wanted to play that through an adult. And I remember this is back when games weren't like again like 10 or plus years ago when games weren't stupidly expensive and you could track them down. They said, hey, we have a copy. It's just the discs. The discs are immaculate. We don't have the booklets or anything. And I think it was like $15. But that was
yeah. No, I mean like that.
I didn't care. I just wanted to play it on my PS2. I didn't care. So
I told somebody the story about when I pre-ordered Final Fantasy 7. Because I that was the first game that I actually ever put money down on to pre-order. Because I picked up Tobal #1 when it came out on launch day because I heard that there was going to be a demo for Final Fantasy 7. And then no one really picked up Tobal #1, but I did because I was like, no, I'll play this cool, quirky fighting game thing with this like quest mode or whatever.
Oh,
but it had a disc in it that said Final Fantasy 7 demo, and I played the wheels off. I probably put more hours in that than I did in Tobal, to be honest.
Didn't you make a video on that a while back?
I did.
Okay. I was going to say, how do I know that?
Yeah, I think it was like the 30th or 25th anniversary or whatever for Final Fantasy 7's release. I'm pretty sure I made a video about that. Talking about it because that was awesome. That was a good time. But Karsten's comment there, he worked at Funkoland. So out of all of them, out of every single store that ever existed that was like a big box retailer to go and buy games, if I could like wave a magic wand and bring one of them back today, that's the one. Funkoland was the man. It was so good. Like I love that store. And it is 100% the reason why I got back in to all of the retro stuff, because, or not really got back in, but while everyone was chasing after PlayStation, like the Nintendo 64 and all that other stuff, I went back in there because there was a Funkoland across the street from where I worked at Toys R Us because I was a Toys R Us employee, right? So I'd cash my check, go in and go to a Funkoland to buy my games because there was these giant walls of NES, like from floor to ceiling, this giant like stacks of NES games in these slotted things in the shelf. And you just like bloop, 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 bloop. And then you bring them to the counter and it's like, yeah, it's $10. You have like 15 games. Like, yeah, it's $10. And you're like, sold. That was the best.
You know what, dude? And what's kind of depressing about that, this part isn't depressing, but I watch some YouTubers or like either live in Japan or they travel to Japan. And I kind of feel like now in Japan for retro, it's kind of like how it was back like in the early 2000s. Meaning you could go and buy like a Super Nintendo or Nintendo and some like you could spend $100 and you could start off with a mini collection of loose games and have good times. Oh, Atari Creep.
What's going on, Chris? What's up?
And nowadays you can't do yeah.
Awesome vid, by the way.
Yes.
So yeah,
the one about the name we want to mention, but you know what? But that's again, it was a little bit back to Evercade, but then it kind of reminds me, like for me, that it like Evercade is like the modern day thing of where you can actually get a physical cart and you can get some retro games on it without breaking the bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it really is kind of like that. It's like, and I mean there isn't somebody that's following this model other than Blaze.
No.
In the retro space, and I love him for it because it's like. It is so really, really, really cool. So here's our like calling our retro gamers Evercast Part 2 moment. But but seriously, like it's really
Yeah.
cool. Like for real. But yeah, I mean, it's I guess getting back to like doing that like back in the day stuff. Carson was saying it was Tobal #1 was cool, but it wasn't any Virtual Fighter or Tekken. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one though by SquareSoft that was also kind of like that was Airgeist. Do you remember that one? Airgeist. God bless the ring.
Why did I maybe print Airgeist? Arius. Might have to.
Yeah,
it's show me
the box art.
Yes.
Yeah, let me see if I can find the box art.
I think I know what game, but I think I probably.
Yeah, it was another fighting game that was like a 3D fighting game, and
So you know what? So funny that you mentioned that, Carson. Which when I was on Panda, so another Panda, if you're still here, but kind of since you brought up Sega Nintendo show, so another like controversial thing I think that because a controversial hot take I was going to say on something, and I do, but like for me, like the Super Nintendo was like Nintendo's last best system. Oh, okay, that game. No, I never played that, but I've heard of.
I still have my copy.
Oh wow.
I have that. I have my copy of. Well, I don't have my copy of Tobal #1. I have a copy of Tobal #1, but I do have my copies of almost all of the other Final Fantasy Collection releases. Where they did Final Fantasy Origins, which was like 1 and 2, and then there was the one that had was it 5 in Chrono Trigger or 6 in Chrono Trigger, and then the other one had like 4 and 5, and then there was Final Fantasy Tactics, obviously 7, 8, 7, 8, and 9.
Oh, wow.
But I still have all those.
So to kind of go back to this, Carson. So
yes.
So like here's the thing. There's two different. So there's two different types of either video game companies or people of assets, right? And I'll say there's like your Data Easts, there's your Ataris, there's your like Megacats. There's people that they have licenses, right? And let's say technically like they don't even like not that I don't think a company likes their own games. Like they could just be some dude who acquired or dudette that acquired the licenses. They understand that they have money, that they have like they can print money, right? They right. understand that. They understand that those like there's a market for it where, hey, don't necessarily need to remaster. You could release them to somebody like an Evercade, an Arcade One, whoever. People will buy your. And then there's other companies like maybe Activision kind of falls in the Nintendo where they don't really realize what they have and they're kind of like weird about. They're kind of weird about it. Like Nintendo.
I agree. Electronic Arts is the other company that is very much like that.
And that's why I say Super Nintendo, I felt like was the last best system because that's where I felt like they understood their customer. Even at the time, like I remember when I saw it, again, controversial what I'm saying, but when I saw Nintendo 64, I thought it looked ridiculous with the controllers. And I kind of felt like the GameCube, I know that's a beloved system, but like, I still don't like, for me, like that's not my, like, I kind of felt that's when they started to go out of touch. And if you watch some of their videos, like Nick the Geek Story, and he did a great one where he said like, fans didn't really know how to react. And I remember, I didn't really know how to react. I remember it was kind of one of the weird systems. Like, why did I buy it? And so that, then again, the Wii for a while, I did have fun playing with my wife. Never owned any of the DSs, so I can't speak to that. But I just hate how they've kind of gone the gimmicky route. And then even kind of with the Switch, like truthfully, I think that if Nintendo was smart, I think they would split the line again and make a console that can play their games at like higher than 30 frames per second, and then have another portable line.
They've never been that, like ever. But I think it's time that they actually take a crack at it. To be very honest, because there's such a demand from their like the fervent fan base that I think it would matter. If they did it, then it would finally be like the culmination of all the things that the people that have been traveling with them for so many years wanted. So like I agree. But
if I can find like one of the XLs, maybe I don't know, trade in some stuff, I would software mod it. But so here's the kind of weird thing that I've realized in Nintendo. I think that they're like, look, we have the Switch, all our game, even retro stuff should be on the Switch. I think for some reason, like they might think of it, let's say, as an embarrassment to release another handheld. But at the same time, don't tell me that like tomorrow, let's say if they released like the DMG portable that had like, I don't know, 20 games, even 10 games that was like under $100, it would like sell out like instantly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like there's people like there's a big enough community of people, and then what they don't realize is there's a lot of people who own a Switch that would still buy it.
Right.
versus ColecoVision's. Yeah. So
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just kind of weird. I don't know.
Got
It's
mine
about-
last year. My first one was last year too.
Yeah, and then I don't know. And Sega's kind of in the middle. Although if they are cool, then they need to release some of their master systems. I don't know, but it's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah,
with,
they need to do that.
with
Somebody
properties.
just put out a video. I can't remember who it was, but somebody just put out another video. Oh, it was John Riggs. He put out a video that was like his hey, here's the top whatever, however many games that were released after the Genesis.
Oh, he's been doing that series. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so it's all sorts of different games, and of course, he ends it with the last couple games, the last handful of games that came out, and one of the last of them is of course Golden Axe Warrior, and he's like, when he got to Golden Axe Warrior, he's like, there's a game, it's called Golden Axe Warrior, it's like Zelda, I don't need to say anything anymore because you just need to go and get it, and I'm like, agree, but there's a lot of games there, right, in that other pantheon that probably people just don't even remember or even realize that they were Master System games. That, man, when he went through that list, I'm like, that's a collection right there.
Yes,
that is straight up a collection. I mean, get that license and go, put it somewhere.
Well,
Let's
and then
go.
the other thing, with the Nintendo, the modern Game & Watches, kind of we're talking about, I kind of the thing in Nintendo, I kind of feel like they kind of did the bare minimum. The Zelda one was a step up, but somebody who's as much of a Zelda, to me that still wasn't good enough. And then you hear how it's uncomfortable to hold. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird that there's other now. So when we were kind of talking about all this, and actually kind of to go back to Shimmy Retro, ColecoVision, kind of that's weird how things. So do you know what a GP32 or a Game Park 32 handheld?
I think I recognize the name, but I don't know what. I don't know what it is.
I should bring up. So again, this is going back 10 plus years ago. So initially, before, I know this being a tech guy, before micro SD and SD cards. What was that other form where they could only hold 128 megs? Yes, and I said, they were those ridiculous fat longer cards. They're 2 or 3 times the size of an SD card, to the fact that when the Wii had SD cards, it was oh my god. But anyways, these things were they were designed to play their own original games, like pinball and a few others, and somebody figured out, hey, you can make custom firmwares and put emulation on there.
Oh, okay.
And I need to Google. It was really popular in the UK, but then they had some backlit ones, and sort of looks actually kind of looks sort of I need to bring up a picture of it. It kind of reminds me of a jankier version of the original Evercade. It was called a Game Park 32, but
right.
We just called it a GP 32. Oh yes. Oh wow. Ooh, let me bring this up here. Ooh.
Nice.
Okay, this is weird. Okay, hold on a second. And I had to point to this, but it's even giving me nostalgia just looking at Chrome tab. Where are you? Okay.
That's
here's some here's some pictures.
Thanks.
And so I said it kind of sort of, but the D-pad was kind of weird. But it was, I don't know what the specs were, but it was very those cards.
It almost looks like a Gizmondo or something.
Yes. Yeah, those cards right there. Those.
Oh yeah, they are a little longer than an SD.
Yes. And it had its own weird adapter, and all that. I think I found out about it one of my colleagues who was really geek story, and you need to do one on the Game Park 32. But anyways, my point was, those cards only had 125 meg. I remember I could fit a lot of ColecoVision, put a lot of Nintendo. Actually, I played through a lot of the Zeldas. But the point was that because it was only 124 MB or whatever, it was very limited to what you could put. So you had to really choose for your collections. You could even do bare bones MAME and all that. And I think the one I had had a case with it. But I remember I would have kept it. I eventually sold it because the backlight went out on it, and then it was difficult to see. But it was one of those crazy things that I think I got. I got it on the cheap for $50, and I ended up selling it for £100. Again, it was 10 plus or a little more. I think the conversion rate was I remember I got $150, but it was when pounds were worth double.
Yeah.
I even said hey, the backlight went out in it. Maybe you can maybe you can fix it. It has a custom firmware. But anyway, it's going to talk about emulation and collections and things. I don't know. I had a nostalgia kind of moment for
Awesome.
this. So yeah, you should do the GP32 or Game Park 32.
That's a cool little device.
Yeah, I almost wish I just like had it to kind of like compare. I guess it had a battery you could charge, but it was one of those things that was like ahead of its time, had a whole community. So it kind of like fast forward now, like Evercade kind of reminds me of that, but except like like legit and licensed and
Right. Yeah,
and
that's neat.
and everything. But yeah, ColecoVision has got some cool stuff, especially if you can play with the different controllers. Like okay, so yeah, Karsten remembers that. But yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Very cool.
It was weird the type of stuff. Oh, what did he say? Got a Saturn replacement?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I was saying like, wow, yeah, it is ridiculously expensive. And then the only other way that you could do it is if you wind up modding your Saturn to do all the like language patching, and then you just go, oh well, you know what? Let me just start importing some of the Japanese games, because you can get the Japanese versions of most of these games for pretty cheap, instead of trying to get the US version, because they're ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, when I was in college and I knew a dude who had it, but that was like I really didn't hear much of the Saturn before then.
Yeah, I mean,
I kind of heard it back like in the PlayStation day, but it was like it was $100. It just wasn't as popular. But I remember like a dude who had it, and he like had the stuff like imported and had, like the fighting games. But I didn't, I was like, I mean, that's cool and all, but like I didn't, Dreamcast was more of,
Yeah, the Dreamcast was definitely the more like mainer stream than the Saturn was, because like anyone that I knew that owned a Saturn loved it. It's just that like I almost felt like the Saturn was almost like in like Neo Geo territory. Like you knew a couple people that had one, and when you asked them about it, it was like, yeah, I had to spend an arm and a leg to get all of the things necessary to play it.
Literally.
And you're like, oh, okay, well then, that's neat, but that's not going to be for me, because I just don't, like I'm not going to jump in the pool like that.
No. See, that's what was neat about the Dreamcast, is then I kind of felt like that was like the affordable modern Neo Geo for everybody, because you kind of felt like you did have like arcade games like Power Stone, Crazy Taxi.
And those games were awesome.
Yes.
I remember like throwing down Power Stone 4-player. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah. See, I don't. Yeah. So you know what? I don't blame you there. And at some point, I want to get more. Actually, I need to get more into either Saturn or Dreamcast emulation for some of those things. What's interesting? Check out like Mad Little Pixel did a video on Dreamcast. Like he called it like playing like for free to up to $1,000, kind of showing that like. I think it's like Castlevania games. Like they'll max out. You can get like anything done to a dream. Like they'll build you your dream Dreamcast. Like you can get HD out, you can get an ODE drive, but that's like really expensive.
Right.
Or you can get
each one of those add-ons is like almost $200 per add-on.
Yeah, he talked. It's stupidly expensive. Kind of a middle option is to get like a clone GMU, which those are like $100, and then there was like it was like $70, but it's like an adapter for like HDMI, but it's like it like goes out into like a box that's almost kind of like this. You're still spending a few hundred, or you can do it for free. And the funny thing is, he showed screenshots of all the three, and to be honest, or video, like it's difficult to tell like running on the original hardware versus like the emulation.
Right.
But I do get
and nowadays the people that are working on that emulation stuff, I mean, they're wicked good. So
exactly. So I do believe it is cool to get your hands on the physical hardware and stuff now, because it's so expensive. It's like emulating. But yeah, I need to do that. I need to emulate like some 3DS stuff and see how playable that is on the deck. But yeah, I thought about it at some point, if like my local retro store, if they had like one of the better 3DS XLs, like could I do like a trade, like Game Boy? Could I like not have to pay any cash, like Paper Mario and like my other Game Boy Advance games? Like I may be willing to do that. Then you just jailbreak that,
right?
Although that would be a system of discovery. I don't think it'd be like jailbreaking some other things and you like blow through it and you're like, oh, I can play all the stuff that now I can play too much.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, what's up, Ian? Yeah. What's going on? Welcome in.
The chat's jumping on. I do want to say too, I do really appreciate all the new subs and everything, for the videos, putting out like the Quinops X and my controversial take on the Steam Deck versus the ROG, and all that. And also too, those of you in the chat,
that's been doing really well.
Yes, yeah, no, I was surprised, and all of you have commented on my latest video on my own, on the Evercade Effect. Really appreciate everybody in the community.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes it's one of those things where it's and so here's what's just kind of funny that and like Show Me Retro knows this, he's a YouTuber that's like, you put out a video, you don't think, oh, I want this to hit the algorithm. If I mention like such and such other YouTuber, I'll get a bazillion views. No, it's like sometimes in your mind you may think what videos will do better, but you put something out because that's what you want to do.
Right.
And and me and Rich, we've had videos where maybe you get 1,000 views, maybe you have a video where you get like 10 views. Not that, but you know what I mean. It's
exactly. Yeah, no, I mean, but it's just you never know what's gonna happen.
Although, Rich, what's special that happened to you is that the alien abduction one where you got like that Wikipedia, and it was hilarious.
yeah.
Thing. And I remember when I watched it on my TV, it still had it there, and it was weird because I think you only got like that definitely screwed you out because you only had like 30 views. I'm like, no way. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, that should have.
I should go look and see how that.
Maybe more now, but when I watched it, it was like a 30. I'm like, definitely, it like YouTube like put like a tinfoil hat on that video and like kicked you over to the.
Yeah, I can't believe they're just like I'm talking about an exclusive game for whatchamacallit.
Yes.
For the Atari VCS, and they're like, no,
that was great. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, in the end, it actually it averaged because it was a Newsline. It's a Newsline video. Yeah, it averaged the way it normally did.
Maybe it got better, but initially it was like around like 20, 30. Like you could.
No, it was getting crushed for sure. Yeah, definitely, it was definitely under the way that even today's news that happened. It was under that.
Exactly. Yeah, I do what I want. Yeah, I do what I want. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
It. Yeah. That's how you have to do it here.
Yes.
Because if you're chasing the algorithm, you're going to wind up finding out very quickly that the stuff you're doing isn't fun anymore.
Exactly.
And it's and the way that I've seen it now, especially since I've had a lot of members of the community, reaching back out to give me direct input as to what they want me to do, it's way more satisfying to build your community in that way and then have them come back to you and then say, hey, it'd be really cool if you did this. And I'm like, yeah, of course. Why not? Right. I literally just had Ken from Mech Gang Games. He commented on a video just this afternoon. And he was like, oh, it'd be really helpful is if you made a video about X topic. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. Because it's because that's why, right? That's why we do it, to interact and give people what they want to see.
Yes.
So Karsten at 100%. It is like that with so many things.
Yeah. But it's always nice when people sub to there, and I got a few subs on my own channel, and it's
it's really cool. It's really cool. Now, and now for me, and now here's the part of calling all retro gamers where Rich beats himself in the. It was like, oh, please get back and I gotta get back into this thing.
Right. Well, because it's one of those things where we've said that if we can get or surpass on this show the numbers that we get in Evercast, then this will turn into a weekly thing. If we're like, hey,
absolutely,
that much of the audience, and that's.
but yeah, this thing is calling my name. I gotta go back.
Yes.
I'm actually thinking about doing a triple threat video or something like that for this weekend, and do do 3 of the requests in a row in one video, just so it's all right, cool. Here's our catch up. Let's go, and then have one big reset, and then keep going because it is cool, and it's awesome to see everyone come in and then keep requesting new games, because that's
what I was gonna say.
That's the most fun. I love it because
that's
it's
what I was gonna say.
Play this wacky game, and I'm like, okay.
Yes, and initially that's what I was gonna say. I love about that is it just started off, hey, I'm gonna pick a random thing, and all that, and then I think I think somebody came to you and they said, hey, we try out these games, and then that's the community was asking.
It was yes.
That's what I love about it. You didn't even say, hey, if anyone has any games. No, once people started requesting, they were like, hey, I'll take requests. It took one person. And
it was awesome.
I love that, man. And then I love it too because now since I not necessarily every game, but since I have coin ops, Legends on my Steam Deck, I can also try out those same games that you
Yep.
that you recommended. So that's like a lot of fun. But no, I love that. I still wonder because every time I'm like, is this going to be the one where you go talk to the manager?
I mean, somebody's gonna wind up. Somebody's like, there's a lot of people that know. A lot of people that are doing the requests. And they're like, most of them are here. Like, Phantom's in there.
Yeah.
Carl's got in here in the chat tonight, but he's always in there, and they have a lot of deep knowledge of some of these arcade games. I'm just waiting for the day where somebody just casually puts it in there, just like, yeah, just do this one. Like, and they don't tell me, but they're really sending me. They're sending me to the gallows. Karsten, how do you request? Literally find any one of the Calling All Retro Gamers one credit quick look videos, and just comment on that video and just be like, hey, you should do blah 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 blah, and then just leave the comment there, and I read them all before I do the show, and then I'll pick one and then we'll do it. Or in this case, in this weekend, because it's holiday weekend, I have a little bit more time. I will likely pick like 3 or 4. I think I'm only 3 back. So I'll probably do 3 to do the catch up, and then boom. And then next week it'll be like 1 a week, for every Saturday. And then they go live usually on Saturdays between midday, right after Evercast, or if I have to record in the afternoon on that Saturday, then like they come up like 4 or 5 p.m. So EST. So that's it. That's how that goes. And it's super fun. Yeah. It's super fun. So, but yeah. So, speaking of things,
chat. That's funny.
Yeah. Speaking of things that are also super fun, like I had the coolest like geek wig out moment today when that news dropped from Atari. It just came out of nowhere that it's like, of all of the things, like I said it during the news line, but it's like, of all of the things Atari could announce as a new game from the developer that they've been working on, they've been working with for years now, doing the recharge games. The one game type they choose is like, this is the game for Rich. Here you go, Rich. Like, we know you want another strategy RPG, and then here it is. We're at least a tactics based, like, roguelite is what they call it.
Yeah.
But it's turn based. So it's like, what, like, of all the things you could possibly give me, like, it's like, I love Final Fantasy Tactics, Vandal Hearts, Shining Force, like all those games are like I love those games, love them. And this new game that just got announced, Days of Doom, excuse me, is one of them, and I cannot wait to play this one, man. I'm super, super hyped.
Yeah, I didn't even know about it until when I saw like your video. I'm like, okay. And you know what I like too, that it's neat that Atari is doing something different. They're like, we're not just going to rely on the recharge games. We're gonna have other developers. We're going to publish these other, that we work with, that we trust. We're going to do these different style of games. It'll be under the Atari brand, but no, I love that, which is good. It shows that they can do more.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if it's here we go. I mean, yeah, this game looks rad. You got your dudes and your grid, and then you'll have like your powers or whatever. And then you move along the grid, and you're fighting zombies and like a post-apocalyptic thing.
Yeah.
Dragon Force is epic. Show me. That is another good game.
Ooh.
Yeah, I had Shining Force CD. That was awesome. It's like, it's pretty crazy. But I love the art style.
Yes, the art style.
It's really, really cool, and it's nice to see that because Sneaky Box, they've been doing all the recharge games, and they have good art style as well. But to really see like the art crews just going wild on this, like,
this is good.
Really
the art's
cool.
It's like I don't want to say typical, but it's like what you would expect to kind of see of like a post-apocalyptic zombie game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't speak at all of 8-bit, which is great. They went all in. Like you wouldn't even know that Atari published it, which is good. Atari, they need, they're like, hey, we've got our classic games recharged, and we can do these too.
Yeah, exactly. And it does, way less like gritty and brown though. Like there are lots of colors and stuff in here too, which is good. It's good to see.
When is this supposed? Is there a release date for this? Or?
They said, the trailer says coming soon, and then I read an article. It's the article I'm actually pulling these photos from on Game Informer. They said later this year, so I'm imagining it's fall if they're going to put it out, or later. So either they're going to hit that September-October window because it is survival, like with zombies and stuff. October would kind of make sense. But if they don't make that, then it's going to be holiday window. So November for sure.
I'm hoping it'll be like at that $10, $15 price point. I'm hoping.
Yeah, I mean, the sneaky bucks have been hitting that price point on almost every one of the recharge games. So I would imagine, this might be on the higher side, $14.99 maybe.
That's fine.
But I'm still in.
Just sometimes I see some like games like this coming out like for 30 something, and I'm like, I'd rather wait for it to be on. I mean, this is great though. This is what I love about Steam. Games that aren't out yet, you can go and you can add to your wish list, and then when it does come out, I'll be notified. And it's one of those ones, depending on what I'm playing, even if it's not an insta buy, I will definitely acquire this at some point. But it's like one of those ones that it'll be on my radar, kind of between playing stuff. But this looks like a lot of replay value. It's tactic based and roguelike like that's great.
It seems like it's a lot of like you might see the same map, but things will change and be different based on each one of your runs. Like will alter the way that you have to use your tactics. In order to play the game.
Man, guys, you know what? I'm gonna have to emulate and play Shining Force CD on my Steam. There's not every single game, but there's like I downloaded, somebody like had like a bundle, like the best of these like various different systems, maybe like 10 to 15 games, kind of depending on the size. I need to get that. I need to get that set up because there's some certain games like that I want to play.
Yeah, I mean,
this looks good. Yeah, going back.
It really looks cool, and it really looks like there's some depth. You can do crafting and like do your XP and all that kind of stuff. Very, very cool stuff.
See, these in my opinion, like for me, like this is like AAA games don't get me like excited. That gets me excited. Seeing these cool new. Actually, it's kind of funny because John, I think like John Hancock in one of his videos that he's like, Tears of the Kingdom doesn't get me as excited as Murloc. That or Murtop, like that. The Bomberman and Dig Dug kind of baby. I mean, it's like to each their own, but it's like these cool like indie different type of games like that. Like that is that is exciting, and then they're priced right too.
Right.
That's a whole other topic. But for me, I feel like I don't know. I can't take a chance on a $60 or $70 game and know nothing.
Yep.
Oh.
So,
Phantom asked you a good question.
Oh yeah, this was a question that actually, before I realized that, well, not only are we going to run out of time in the regular show today but it was a question I was going to ask Ed in the pre-show. I could just ask now.
Yeah, ask me now.
Do we? Because I don't know when the next guest is going to be in the lineup, right?
Is that right?
Do we start the quest of completion on card or not? Because if we do, then next time we meet, then we will just start the next completion. And of course, the game chosen was off of this fine legacy collection of Pico 1. Shed a tear for Pico, because I can't believe. I mean, I understand why it happened, but I cannot believe this is not going to be produced anymore. They better find a way to to redo it without those two games or something, because this is the best somebody who's buys an Evercade. What do I get? Pico 1. Done. That's it. But yeah, we're doing Canon, which is a strategy RPG, which is awesome. So yeah,
that's a great game to play in small. Which, by the way, I have got. Well, I've been playing Breath of Fire, so now that I'm into that, I couldn't go back to that game yet. So it's good that you haven't played Breath of Fire yet, because I've been having.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard things from Crow directly that it's obviously you can get through the game, but it gets brutally difficult at the end. And I'm just gonna find, because the point of completion quest is not only to complete the game, but find the best way to complete the game.
Right.
And there's literally nothing. I went to Game Facts. Nobody wrote a fact for it.
Nope.
There's no guides. There's no maps. There's literally Crow's playthrough video and some stuff from like a place that doesn't offer translation, and that's it. Like that's all I got.
You know what's funny? And it's actually there's another place you can look for some of those. Sometimes if it's a game that's imported to Steam, sometimes you can go and you can look at the Steam guides.
Oh, okay.
Because like that other RPG that's on there, there was like one or two spots. Yes, I had to do that.
Okay.
But so if that had been one of the ones that they ported to Steam, there might be some Steam guides, maybe.
Yeah.
But to your point though, some of these games, even Cathedral, which is painful for me to talk about, there's like there isn't as much documentation, so it's kind of like the old days. Like, wow, I got to figure this stuff out for myself.
Exactly. And I figure, you know what, because we had the Rolls Royce of guides for Golden Axe Warrior. We really did.
Yes.
Lighty's written guide and Starfighter 76's maps are like they were awesome. So like so diving into something that has literally offers me nothing, I think might be cool. It might be cool to try. However, also because it's canon and it's a strategy RPG, I'm diving in head first because I just want to play one of these games. So that was a good time. So thanks, man.
It's kind of funny when this seems to happen either on Evercade or now. I have 2 more free, like legit, like Steam games. Put the link that you can go to, and actually, like one of them, there's that Warhammer 4000 Relics of whatever.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, it's like the free game of the day or whatever.
Yes, and then the second, it's funny because I'd put here. Let me do this right. I'd put spaces and it like mashed.
Oh, that's cool.
Do a search and let me do it again. And then the second one, Hue, I don't know, it came out like it's some like puzzle game. I know there's like bunnies and stuff. What's funny is how I found out about these games literally when I was on the YouTube app on the home page. It said free Steam games, and I clicked on it, and I shamefully admit I didn't watch the person's video. I just went into the description and I saw the links. And it's one of those things where like even if you don't have a deck or a powerful computer, just like log into Steam in a web browser, claim those games, they're free. Why not? So
right.
There you go. Sometimes you find out about free stuff. But it's kind of funny because like in the last Evercast, it was like Metro Light, the complete thing. I'm like, hey, there's just a free. So I don't know. Whenever I find out about, especially free games that like are free permanently for a limited time from Steam, and all you have to do is just like click on it and claim it.
Yeah, I mean that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Hue for free.
Yeah.
This looks cool.
Yeah,
the Hue game.
Try them out. Yeah. Yeah, Hue looks kind of neat. Like it looks kind of like a cutesy puzzler. I'm like, yeah, that I gotta.
I mean, it looks like if somebody tried to colorize Limbo.
Yeah.
Like it almost looks like that because he's like the little kid and he's like jumping around on the platforms and stuff. That's neat.
Oh yeah, it's one of those things to claim. So yeah, I don't know.
Very
For
cool.
me, I always like free Steam stuff. It's just I don't know, getting things like on the Epic Store, other places don't mean as much because like Steam.
Well, yeah, I mean, because if you have your library, like I've had my Steam library since Steam was Steam.
Yeah.
As like because when they started Steam, it was for Half-Life 2. Like it went all the way back. When Half-Life 2 dropped, that's when Steam like became a thing. So you had to register an account in order to activate your copy of Half-Life 2. So yeah, my account's from back then.
You know what I missed though? I can't remember the name of it. It was called like Indie Games. It was a very popular site, but I forget. But the difference is they would literally take anything. Like sometimes, like even Steam has standards. They would take anything, and like that. Like if y'all remember, like Five Nights from Freddy's, like they started off on there. I can't remember the name of. They went out of business. I forget why, but it was like, hey, buy it here for $5. You'll get a Steam key. You're welcome, Phantom. Anytime that you know who else and I've been a little bit lazy to check, like Gaming on Linux. Join his Discord. Usually people will post that stuff in the chat. I just happened to stumble upon it. Oh, Tim's Tiny Arcade. Woohoo!
What's going on, man?
Hey, you missed it. You missed it early. Well, but I'll repeat what I said again. I said what's interesting is usually if I see there's like a video of something like happening in Atari, like you'll put out a video and Rich will put out a video like at the same time, and you all have like different takes on it. But you all are of one mind. Oh, hey, Nathan Carey from
What's
London.
up, Nathan?
Hey, we got somebody.
That's a late night, my friend.
Yeah, somebody new.
It's like 7 hours. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Welcome to the channel.
Nice. Yeah, welcome. Oh man. Well, Ian knows what's up, but he's a night warrior.
Yeah, you're welcome, Phantom. I try. I do what I can.
Would it be possible to come on the show? Yeah, send us find us on the interwebs. I mean, we're both on Twitter or whatever. Just send us a send us like a DM or something like that, and we can set up a get an
or
interview.
you can DM us on Twitter on calling on Retro Gamers.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it'd be cool. Wow. Yeah, and I mean, like open invite literally to anyone. Dude. Anyone in the literally anyone in the chat too. You guys want to come out and hang out?
Yeah, that or isn't our that would probably be the best. I mean, or you could
you can send us the email address. Yeah, calling all retro gamers at Gmail.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, either way. Yeah, dude. Yeah, we always love to have a blast and all that.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to hang out with people.
That's the first time people have asked live on the show. That's
that's cool. That's cool.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, what's up, Michael Hayes? What's going on? All these people just dropping in from everywhere. What's up?
See, you said it was winding down. Things are winding up. See, now we may have to broadcast a little longer since we
right, indeed. Phantom, yeah.
Hey guys, check out! Look who's here!
Yeah, it's like, oh hey, what's up? Come on and hang out, man.
Trust me. Hopefully, and it's funny. No, I call it our 5-year plan.
Thanks.
But hopefully in the next. That's why I think I said this in Evercast at some point, because like Crow's located in the Chicago area. That's usually where they have he lives where they have the best, most conventions and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's dude, trust me, hope our goal will be in our lifetime for all of us to be able to meet up, be some convention somewhere. We will let everybody know.
Oh, 100%.
We will let everybody know.
That is a 1,000% goal.
Yeah.
Before anything else happens, as far as going to places or whatever, there has to be a live Evercast.
Yeah.
And we have to do it at a con. Yes,
that's our 5-year plan.
Yes, that is our 5-year plan.
If we're in Chicago, then we can of course always go to Galloping Ghost and all that stuff.
Right. So, yeah, no,
we'll do a dual thing. We'll do that, and then we'll also have a calling on retro gamers, and we'll also have
oh yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be really neat. So, yeah, man, I miss Sega making consoles too. We were literally just talking about Sega and Dreamcast and Sega CD and
so I may have said this before, but kind of a Dreamcast confession. So during that time, Dreamcast was popular and all that, and then remember when they said they weren't going to make any more games, and then PS2 was coming out, and they were I remember feeling shamed or even kind of feeling dumb, all the people that had saved up for a PS2 when they're going that route. They're yeah, man, you picked the wrong system. You know what I mean? That kind of feeling that shame. But then I kind of hate that because I had a lot of love for that system. And then I just kind of felt because it wasn't the popular thing, then it fell out of favor, which is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that. I kind of bought into that. And then I did get, shortly after, I might have sold my Dreamcast out, pay for a PS2. I don't know. But then when they were difficult to find and
right. So,
heck yeah.
Nice.
Dude, that's awesome, and if y'all haven't, you need to check out Tim's Tiny Arcade, because when he goes to these places, he does an awesome montage, and he'll put that stuff up on his channel. Actually, he has some cool interviews with Doc from Galloping Ghost. So yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I love living vicariously through you, man.
Yeah, I'm thinking a trip to Too Many Games for at least one day might need to be in the future. I'm just trying to find out which day I would want to go in. It's one of those things I would love to go on Saturday because that's the busy day and that's where all that stuff is. But I'm worried that by the time I can, I realize that I can go, that the tickets will be sold out. So because it blew up. There's so many people at Too Many Games this year.
Oh, nice.
As far as people to see. To go and do the meet and greets and stuff with. There's the list is ridiculous.
Oh, speaking of going to play, like, well, probably go with like to Game Fest again here, like in Austin. Since my wife.
Oh, that's cool.
And
Nice.
it's funny because like I'm on like a mission for something. I don't know why, because they have like a lot of like junk things on working consoles. And what I really want to get, and I'm hoping it wouldn't be too expensive, if I can just find like a power glove, like I don't care if the cord snapped, it doesn't have to work, it doesn't have to be like in the greatest condition. What I mean? Like I just
Right.
like I would like I just want it like for the aesthetic, just to say I own like a powered glove, and I would do weird nerdy things and wear it in my video and all of that.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's kind of the only other around. I mean, there's like South by Southwest, but some of those things get like really expensive, where they're like $100 a day per person. I'm like,
Yeah, some of those cons are 100%.
like,
They get crazy.
I'm like, I don't quite want to pay like that much. Michael Hayes mostly lurking tonight, software, but
Yeah.
it's all good. Really, we do really appreciate the influx of the.
Yeah, man, everyone's coming in. It's awesome.
Well, see, and that's kind of the goal. The goal of this channel initially started off as live content, and then me and Rich put other things we want to share, and then that way we can hopefully grow the channel, different things, and people will come on the show. And see, that's 15. Yes.
Oh, like, that's an awesome price to go.
That's super cheap. Even I don't like even like $30 or less a person. That's like
I want to say.
Dude,
I want to say. I'm just gonna go to Too Many Games website right now, and I almost can guarantee you that a day is probably triple that.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me go here. Too Many Games website. Buy tickets.
Ian's asking how's Pete. I would assume fantastic. He was relaxing with the Tim Hortons mug, and
yeah.
I imagine he'll be all relaxed, like coming back to like Evercast Saturday.
Right, what do we got here? Tickets, basic 3-day pass. I don't want a 3-day pass. Friday only, Saturday only. Okay, so each day except for Sunday, because I think they're only open for like 4 or 5 hours instead of like all day. It's $60 a day.
Yeah.
So yeah. but if you get the 3-day pass, it's $60 a day, but if you get the 3-day pass, it's $90. So like, they just want you to get the 3-day pass.
Of course.
It's really how that goes.
See, it's funny because granted it was on the, I don't know, I think maybe it was like a Friday through Saturday, but if you ordered them online, it was only like $10 a person, but that was like that day on that Sunday. But wow. But something like that, it was big enough, but really it was something that you'd only want to spend a few hours at. It wasn't like a super big. Normally it might have been like $20.
Yeah.
So it just
Well, and Too Many Games even last year, and they had a lot of stuff restricted from because it was still like coming out of COVID time. Even back then, the place was massive, just massive, because they had the entire like vendor space area, which was like 2 warehouses big. They had another 2 warehouses deep after that. That was the meet and greet areas. They had a stage. They had a wrestling ring, like in the middle of the thing, and then like the concessions. That was all in like that other area. There was another like half warehouse that was sit down play, like just stations of games, and an arcade that had like 90 games in it. And some of them were really crazy games. Someone brought a theater rhythm from Japan, like a full theater rhythm cabinet, and everything's on free play. So you just like walk up and play and stuff. It was awesome. It was really, really cool.
Dude, yeah.
So like something like that though, you probably want to go 2 days.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to stand in line and like do any of the meet and greets, because those lines get outrageous. So I was in the line last year for James Rolfe, because he was there for AVGN, and like I probably waited in the line for 20 minutes, but by the time I got out of the line, I got in there early because I figured out like when he was going to go out. So it was just kind of lurking in the area, and the line formed around me, and I was like, well, I'm in this position, it's like 20 people got ahead of me, but that's fine, I'll just wait here. But after I did like the meet and greet and I shook his hand and whatever, and he signed my controller, I turned around and the line had wrapped all the way around the whole station, and I was like, oh wow, that's crazy.
ToyCon, cool.
Nice. Yeah, those like toy cons are pretty cool too. The last time that I went to another big con though was a long time ago. I went to New York Comic Con, and that place was wild because they do it at the Jacob Javits, and it's like mobbed. Like I don't even know how they fit that many people and things in a place, but it's just a sea of stuff.
Yeah, no, I was even overwhelmed where I went.
You know, like, I'd rather a place where it's like there's some areas where you can just kind of like chill out, because it was so packed that year that we went. It was, I don't even know.
Yeah,
we went for an entire weekend. They're just like this for the entire weekend, just crammed up against people. You can barely see anything.
Dude, for me, no, doing that stuff, like I definitely have like some sensory issues, and that like if there's just too much stuff to look at, I'll feel overwhelmed and I get like dizzy and stuff, or just like if I feel too crowded, it's I know what you like. You know, that's why like sometimes after some of those a few hours, I'm like, I need a break or I need to step over, because it's it can just be like so overwhelming. Plus, for me, when I went to that, like I'd never really been to any one of like I didn't even know like what should I look at, what should I do. Mm-hmm. Yes, there's some games I can play, but there's a line, but I want to see other people. And then I was like, hey, there's Warren Davis. I didn't even you know, you never know who like will show up to these type of things. See, our goal will be on one of these channels that will make it big enough that we'll be invited. Like they'll want the panel of Evercast, and they'll invite us.
Right? Yeah, they'll just be like, "Hey, let's come out." That'd be.
They'll pay for it.
That would be weird. Cool. That'd be a weird thing. I don't know. I'd be like, "Wow, all right, you guys want us to come out there and hang? All right, that's cool."
Well, you never know. I mean, who knows? Maybe in a few years, I don't know, something like maybe they're pushing Evercade's next system if they have.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing was, like way back in the day, if I go to like 20 years ago, Rich. Well, not 20 years. It was like 15 years ago, Rich. When we were in the height of like Perfect Score and like doing that kind of stuff. When we were doing audio podcasts only for Big and Ice Cream Productions, we actually had a panel event once at DexCon, which is like the local convention in Morristown here, and that was pretty fun. Because we had like all our friends that came out and like watched us record an episode of the show, and it was like it was this all audio podcast, but it's like that's a good time. You just go and hang out with people. It's neat. It's neat.
Midwest gaming. Yeah, see that's
because those are bigger. I guess those are the bigger cons, right? 50, 60 a day. It makes sense. Like I think Comic-Con though is like insane. I want to say it's $100 or more a day.
It is. It really,
And
see, I'll tell you, and here it's a tough choice because, well, I would enjoy and do that stuff, but then like when you have like music artists and people like who knows how much longer they're going to be touring. So I think that's what my wife kind of get like torn, kind of like get like torn between, because like I don't know, so it's a tough choice.
yeah, for sure.
It's a tough choice, but yeah, who knows, or maybe Carg will get big enough, and then we can go out there, and then we could sneak like Crow and Pete in. I don't know. Hey guys, meet us around back. Yeah, they're with us too on the show. They're behind the scene.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's totally worth it. Yeah, it's tough to, but like, well, I say maybe you're good or bad. Like your kids are grown, like off like in college and all. You know what I mean? So it's like pretty much like. I remember once upon a time when it was just like me and the wife, and we'd go to like Las Vegas a lot.
Oh yeah.
Before like.
No, yeah, I remember the weekend trips. Like before the kids, me and Danae would go on adventures. That's why we wound up at Fun Spot in Laconia, New Hampshire, so many times, because we were just like, oh, we're just bored for a weekend, and just drive up to New Hampshire.
Yeah.
In New Jersey, it's not that bad. It's like 6 hours. I mean, you're there. And then you could get like good accommodation and whatever, and then you walk around in the giant arcade for a day, or two. I mean that's oh man, those are good times. That place is awesome. I know that like Galloping Ghost is now like this massive megalith like thing, but I will say that the feel. I've never been to Galloping Ghost, so I could be completely wrong on this, but I think the feel of like the classicness of a place like Fun Spot, like also shouldn't be missed.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you guys are like like if we're all in that thing where we have to go to a thing, Fun Spot in Laconia, New Hampshire, you have to go at least once.
On his bucket list. Yeah.
Gotta go at least once to see that place, because it's like it's cool, but it is decidedly old school. Michael Hayes says you're only 6 hours from New Jersey. If you meant 6 hours from New Hampshire, yes. because I live in New Jersey.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm 0 hours from New Jersey.
I was confused by that too. Like, huh?
Yeah, so I live in the Jers, but yeah, no, it's about 6 hours from here to New Hampshire, just because of the way like weird ways of getting and cutting through different states. There's a lot of highways, like New Jersey is basically a giant artery that just goes everywhere. And where I live in New Jersey, I live in the place that's 45 minutes from everywhere.
Nice.
Because I can get to both major metro areas, Philadelphia and New York City, in under an hour from where I live, without traffic. Barring major traffic issues, it could be up to an hour and a half because you're waiting for cars to get out of your way. But on a clear night, like right now, if I got in my van right now and drove to New York City, I'd be there in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
In the city.
That's pretty cool.
Likewise, back the other way for Philadelphia, I'd be in there.
Like, you know what though? It's great.
Center City in 45 minutes.
It's great that all these things, because like we have like a lifetime and bucket list. Like one day I would love to go to Japan and that's more far. But like, I think I want to say in California they're also building like a Super Nintendo or Nintendo Land.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Like I would love to go.
Oh yeah, no, all those are bucket list items for me for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. You went to the Meadowlands once? Nice.
Dude.
Meadowlands is a good place. I frequent there to see those guys in the green and white sometimes.
Nice.
Over at the MetLife Center. I also went to a concert on 7707. It was called Live Earth. That was probably one of the coolest like music events I think I've ever been to, because it was everyone. There was like everyone from like Fall Out Boy to Beyonce to like, I think it was like Kelly Clarkson or whatever. It was just like act after act after act after act. I think I still have a shirt somewhere that has all the things that I went there. That was a wild time. Oh, and at the like the end, like the headliner bands, it was like Bon Jovi and Roger Waters and the rest of the Pink Floyd band. And they had like they did the whole set where they had like the inflatable pig, and it was, oh man, it was crazy.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, no, I like this.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What's going on, DJC? What's up? What's going on?
We'll let anybody in here, I guess.
Yeah, right.
No, it's funny because I worked
talking to Chuck for like 3 days in a row.
We were going to talk more Atari thing, although we talked like about the new game, but it's all, I think I was inspired, but it's all good. We like to come up with the topics, like the interaction from the chat, like we've been having, is fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome.
We love
it. Really, really cool.
We love those things. It's funny, DJC. That's why I was telling Rich like how devoted you are to being like on podcasts and things, and we were like on a Panda Subs Master Debaters, like the power was out in your house, but you didn't care. You had a battery and you were all good. And,
yeah, that's epic, man.
Yeah.
That's
the most priceless part though when that does air. I don't know what I think we were able to debate it, but like when the power came back on, you could just like see it. He's just like, eh? We were all like still like debating on. He's like, the power's. He's kind of funny.
If Panda doesn't edit that in, he's doing something wrong.
He'll leave it.
I'm sure he knows how to like, he clips all those cool moments. Because I remember watching the one for when we were on. There was one interaction, and I missed it live. Something happened between, it was like Mike and Panda. Mike said something, and then Panda had a reaction. It was like, he was just like, he's like did one of those, and he edited that in. It was pretty cool. He's like, nothing, he'll stop.
Yeah.
That's good.
All good.
Yeah.
All good times. Speaking of, I know he's been teasing it, because I know his videos take like a while. I think he's like in the next few weeks.
Oh, for Panda?
Yeah, like the next.
Oh yeah. The saga videos.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm anticipating that. Like, I'm anticipating like a summer blockbuster. I'm not joking. Like, I just want to see like how, like, what is going to come out of his creative mind.
Well, see, that's okay. See, that's the thing. See, that's what's great. Is like, and I don't know if Panda, if it's the trifecta, like, it's not the fact that he just knows how to do like 3D effects and a lot of that. Like that's one thing, right? So he's that. Yeah. Then you hit the second, it's the creativity, And then the third thing is that he's one of us. Like, he's a retro gamer. He
and
like
he threads all that into the story. Like,
Yes.
it's really cool. It's such a cool presentation, man.
Yes.
It really is. And it's like, it is criminal, like absolutely criminal that other people haven't found this man yet. So, look at that beautiful golden brown controller up there. Where's the golden brown controller? Where?
I think of like Zelda or something.
I don't know. I don't know where it is. I don't know. I mean, this is sort of
like
wood grain.
Yeah.
That's a console.
Oh, so Tim asked a great question. What upcoming games are you guys most excited about?
Oh, well, most excited about in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Right now, what I'm most excited about is actually the next game from my friend Ken at Metgang Games, and that's Doodle Taxi.
Oh,
I'm hyped.
Yeah.
I am hyped for that game on Atari VCS. I want to play it so bad. It looks really, really cool. He might actually be like cutting it in half, like having half the game be the mode that you see in the trailer, where it's him just like doing I think I got something actually here. It's like him just doing like like the fairs and stuff. This part of the game. And then there's another part where you're like completing the map by like going to different checkpoints and stuff. And then you see like this like syringe come in and like injects color into the 3D game world, and then you're literally painting the rest of the map in order to complete it. That might actually be a second game of you doing that, which is cool. Like, I can't wait for this game, man. Like, it's so interesting. So this one is probably in the near future. That's some of my most anticipated. Outside of what's going to happen in 7 days, but we're getting into like Evercast land. Whatever happens in Blaze, they're dropping something crazy like that. That is the other thing that I'm most excited about.
That's what I was going to say. It's the thing that I don't know about yet, but I looked
games I know about. This one for sure.
It doesn't. I just checked on Steam. They don't have like a store page yet
for
this game,
for Doodle Taxi.
Yeah,
yet. I think it's because he's going to start on VCS and then put it out elsewhere. He did that with I think Path to the Princess was a mobile game that he converted, but Escape from Popo started on Atari VCS and then he put it out elsewhere. So, Brian F says, well, hello, actually, Brian F. And he says his Pico and Amico collection shipped. I got my notification 2 days ago from Funstock, so mine's in the air. Probably because we have the holiday in the States. I'm thinking Tuesday, Wednesday is when I get it.
Me too.
So like right around the time it should have actually been been released. So,
yeah, I should get mine too. I say, knock on wood. The only thing that could delay it is if it gets held up in New York or Chicago.
Right.
That's the only.
Yeah, that happened that one time when you did that. It got stuck in customs because they were looking at something that wasn't even the cartridge or something. I think.
Yeah, but it's coming from Canada. I have a lot better luck of that than coming from the UK.
So, still haven't opened his IRAM.
I need to go back and play R-Type.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's good. Brutal, but good. Will we have a special Evercast on the evening of the 31st? I'm imagining if something so hype drops that it warrants it, I would be sure that we would get together. I'm down for it no matter what. Just to put it out there to Ed, because it's like he would be the one putting up the show invites and all that. Like even if it was like, if one of us, and I also wouldn't, like, if life got in the way and other people were able to make it and not, I would say like, do the special episode on the 31st no matter what. And then it's the 3rd, isn't it? Yeah, it's the 3rd. So the 3rd. So next week's not this week's, but next week's Evercast normal time on the 3rd. We would recap, of course.
Yeah, I think it depends on the news. Because to your point, like once it drops, and then we'll all get our reaction videos up, and then someone and then one of us, like in our own internal like Evercast chat on Discord, that one of us say, "Hey guys, what do you think about jumping on?"
Yeah, I mean, if there's, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be something that's gonna be big enough to do this. But yeah, we just have to see.
It depends on people's schedules, because even though it could be like the best like news ever, but if everybody, no matter what though, no matter what that Saturday, we'll talk about it. Like I can guarantee.
100%.
That week definitely.
There's anyone like the chat won't let us do anything else but talk about it. We haven't interested yet.
It's one of those things where it depends on everybody's everybody's schedules, and it's one of those ones where it would be great for all of us to give. So we'll see. It depends. Like Rich said, depends if life gets in the way.
Yeah. So.
But that's why you need to stay subbed to like our channels, and y'all will.
Yeah, man.
Believe me, y'all will know. Y'all will know if something like that does go up. It's not because I made a mistake. I can tell you. I can tell, but it just goes to show you that like people they don't want to miss Evercast. I appreciated those who were like early, like on that Saturday.
Oh, dude! Like if that happens, man, I'm gonna try to plan on doing a live react. If they do that, like you thought that Ed squealed loudly sometimes, dude. You don't know if they announce Konami Collection, and if they do announce a Konami Collection, like please let it be something that's not like, oh, here's a Konami Collection, but it's like like the collections that they normally do, where they break apart all of their IP, and it's like here's Castlevania on one, or here's whatever. No, I don't want that. I want the mix. I want the mix.
And
make,
in that
make
mix,
Konami make Konami the new Pico 1 is basically what I want out of that collection. You know what I mean?
There's one
load them up and do a whole bunch.
If the like retro universe out there is like taking like game requests, like there's one nostalgic game, because I believe they do own the rights to Frogger, because I know that's like on a Konami collection that I own on GBA. Like put Frogger on there. Yeah, put a mix of whatever. I don't know. Like that would excite me more than a Castlevania, because I have a lot of other. I have a lot of ways to play Frogger too, but just.
Yeah, I mean it's something that's cool and unexpected that is also like owned by Konami. Yes, I would be excited about that. The only one that would be almost nearly in second place and would overtake is if for whatever reason they pulled off Sega, and then like half the collection was Master System games, and they dropped like all those greats. Even though I just finished it, like if they drop a Sega collection, and somewhere in that list is a copy of Golden Axe Warrior, I will flip out. For everyone else, I'd be like, finally, people are gonna see this game, because it's, oh my goodness, people need to play it. But other than that, no, I want like Psycho Fox, and I want I want eSWAT and all that stuff from Master System, and it's just like cram it all in there. And then of course, you got to have the staples. You got to have Miracle Warriors, a Phantasy Star, Spellcaster, like all that kind of stuff. But
so you know what they need.
That would make me flip out too.
So, dude, this is coined Evercast 2. So add to that, here's what would blow me away. If they said we're gonna have a Sega 1, that they called them just Sega Collection 1, Sega Collection 2. Don't just keep it open ended. They're gonna be two collections. They're both gonna come out this year, not at the same time. Each of them are gonna have like 20. Like each of them are gonna have like 20 games. Like this would be have 5 of those be like solid like Sega CD titles, and then have like the other 10 be like cool solid like Master System titles, and then the last 5 on each of the collections be like solid like Game Gear titles, and maybe I'll even say, and depending on how big those games are, it could be Sega CD / Sega Arcade. But like just like
cool.
You know what I mean? Like I thought about this. Like I just don't like. It doesn't have to be a dedicated Master System. It just could be Sega Collection 1 or 2, but just don't have it be your typical Genesis one that you can buy.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I don't want. Yeah. What I don't want. I mean, even though it's certain versions of it, like Sonic's Ultimate Mega Drive collection for the PlayStation 3 is probably the greatest Sega collection I think I've ever seen, because it did have a little bit of everything. It had some arcade. It had some SG-1000 games. Would be awesome. but it also did have Master System games inside that collection on the European side. So something like that would be something that would be very cool. But obviously they're not going to do that because that was like 70 games.
Yeah. Or you know what they could do too, which would be kind of funny. What if they decided? I would be happy with if they did a purple collection that was Sega Arcade, and then they did come out with the red that was going to be your Sega console, and split them up that way. I don't know, but definitely. I want there to be some surprises, some SG-1000 ones, some Master System ones that we haven't heard. Like either some more difficult, or even like Paprium. Like if they're going to do a single player game, like something.
Drop a huge, like here's an indie that like warrants its own thing. Yeah, that would be cool. But
yeah, that'll definitely be next week, and then the following weeks will be like my Pico 3 impressions.
Yeah,
and then the Omega, but here's the good and the downfall for Pico though. Well, I don't care no matter what. They can have Pico 10. It'll always be compared to Pico 1 because you'll be asking yourself like, is this collection better or is it equal or is it worth? You know what I mean? Like that's like such a tough.
Yeah.
That's like such a tough. A tough thing here, but yeah, and then the other thing too to kind of go back. The other thing I'm always excited about is like that indie gem that I've never heard of, regardless of what system it comes out on, whether that's like PC, VCS, just like that indie gem. Actually, so sometimes what gets me excited, Tim, is like either you or Rich will say we'll do a video and it'll be a game that's maybe like it could be on VCS or Xbox. I'm like, is that on Steam? It's obtainable, yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I want it to be something where it's like that underrated game and it's like under $10. You're like, oh my god, it's priced right. It's and I can get it.
Oh no, we're totally speculating. We have absolutely no idea as to whether or not there is one. The only thing that like makes the reason why people keep saying that there's there might be a Sega collection though is because it's pretty known that Ryan's a big fan because he uses Sonic like in every Avatar he's ever done.
Yeah,
Sonic movie one or a Sonic regular thing, whatever. He's always referencing Sonic all over the place. So, because, we've been digging and trying to find like things hidden in plain sight, like it's obviously of course it's Sega because,
what would blow my mind? You saying Sega, him saying Universal Arcade. So there wasn't a point where it speculated that Arcade 1-Up was going to come out with a Sonic 1-Up because there's really? An arcade. I don't know if I think it might be it was only released in Japan. There's like an arcade version of Sonic. That was here in the States. It's like lesser known. I think I might have like tried it on MAME once or like something like that would be excellent. Something, like the lesser known, like something like that because it's, with anything, it's the wow factor, right? So that would be, But yeah, like to your point, Ryan loves Sega. Sega's unlike Nintendo and other people. They're more open-minded.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I have a feeling they're a lot like Atari in that, hey, you want our data east, you want our IP? Yes, we'll give you something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ian, the crew they've been in China and like all over the East for a while now. They went back, they came back, they did something. They were back in the office and then they left again. So yes, like they're traveling around a lot, so you never know. You just never know, and it's been really, really quiet. Like the stuff for the showcase and stuff. Every once in a while we'll get like a ping from people over at Blaze. I mean, that's like just random banter, right? We've nothing, zero things. Like even their stuff that's going out in on social media, like I think there's people other than the main team at Blaze right now that are doing the social media stuff, because even on social media, like when you reply or direct reply to them, sometimes you don't get like you won't get like the usual responses in the way that people are writing responses. I don't know if you've even noticed that, Ed.
Yeah.
They're super busy on doing something. And he's been in the chat. Sean's been in the chat and he said like directly that we're working on this stuff and we're really kind of proud of what we're putting together. Like, I think it's going to be awesome. Like regardless of what happens, I think it's going to be cool. So yeah, I mean they are absolutely super busy. So
Please make you move since day one.
It's a great thing to be, because if they were just like hanging around and even hanging around in the chat with us all the time and like doing whatever, that means that there's nothing really going on.
Yeah.
You're like
nice,
you're in blackout mode. That's exciting.
But isn't it nice though, since they're a smaller company? See, that's what so for me, I want Blaze to be successful, but I don't want them to be too successful where they lose that, because now it's like they're really busy.
Right.
You know what's going to happen. I was hired. I'm making Pac-Man 4 collection.
In a Flamingo game collection.
But truthfully though, I mean, just to speak candidly here, like we don't find out about like this type of stuff until it depends on last year when they did the competition, Blaze
we got invited to be a part of it because they wanted to do a fun thing.
But they just said just do a 5-minute. But they just said it has to be the certain game, and we want you guys just to talk smack to each other. That was the only that was the only guidelines. We had no idea how they were going to edit it, what they were going to do with it, or anything else. So it could be one of those things where next Wednesday we find out. Who knows? Or they, you never know. I think they don't like to tell us too much because they want our genuine reactions to be
right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Wait, and nor do I really want to go looking for all the inside scoops either, because again, I want to be surprised.
Yeah.
I love the things.
So here's kind of the YouTuber dilemma, right? So if they said hey, this is going to drop Wednesday, it's like, hey guys, here's a link for you to watch it ahead of time so you can record your video, so you could have it a part of me would be like, okay, that's great, because now I know that it's not going to interfere with work and not be in the way. But then the problem is, I'm not going to be able to sleep for 2 days. To your point, Rich. If that, I almost don't want. It's one of those things where it's almost like a curse. In a way, you do kind of want to know, but then there's but then you can't. You have to keep that to yourself, and then So yeah, I kind of just hope I find out Wednesday. I want them just to drop it when they say they do, and then on a lunch break, it's one of those things that.
Yeah, for sure.
To record and all that,
for sure,
and all that good stuff. But yeah, Saturday will be fun. Pete will be back from his vacation, and we'll definitely be talking more about this stuff for sure.
100%. And then this is a awesome sentiment, and one also that we can hopefully use then to transition to our final thoughts. As my as for the past 20 minutes, I don't know what's going on, but my sinuses, nose, and eyes, let's just imploding. I was like, I don't know, I gotta go take some Benadryl or something.
Oh no!
But
Benadryl,
yeah. Well, I mean, it's it's time to go to bed, so. But yes, it is 100% a great time to be here. No matter what you're doing, you can be liking anything. You can be a PlayStation guy, an Xbox guy, a Switch guy, or whatever. But certainly in the retro space now, everything's on fire. It's great. It's you got Atari putting out stuff all over the place. You got Blaze doing its thing. You got the Playdate stuff rocking and rolling. You got even Play Magi, the rumor mill starting over there in the Discord and the Play Magi fans group or whatever, talking about they're actually gonna start putting out boxes very soon. It's good. I mean, it's on time because Play Magi said there was during summer, and they're going to start in June with the N64 module. So, hey, if that starts dropping next week, or 2 weeks from now, then that makes me a happy camper, because that means I can get my base unit finally.
Right? Yeah. I was going to say, they better give people their base units before.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, I don't know though. I think they've actually kind of hinted that the N64 modules might actually start arriving at people's houses before their base units. So. I'm just, you got to keep it real. So, yes, absolutely, and tons of homebrew games. From Intellivision for sure. I mean, there's now more Intellivision homebrew games. If I listen to the last episode of the Intellivisionaries podcast, there's now more Intellivision homebrew games than there've ever been in television games. They've exceeded the original 125 in homebrew. How crazy is that? And then there's all those Atari 2600 homebrews that are out there too. We got those 2 that are coming to Atari VCS very soon, Tower of Rebel and Amoeba Jump, all coming to VCS. It's awesome.
wish somebody would take a bunch of those and put in a collection of like a nice easy spot you could find them all.
Yes.
I know some of those will like go to Steam as their own standalone thing. Yeah,
One
yeah,
you
exactly.
can take with you.
Exactly. I mean, I know like sometimes you can even download the ROMs for free. You can buy them, but I hate having the separate ROMs like that because then you got to keep track of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
yeah, Michael Hayes has made a few of those homebrew games.
Nice.
So
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. You didn't happen to make a Amoeba Jumper Tower Rebel, did you? Because that'd be awesome. Because then your game's gonna be on VCS. So that'd be great. So, but yeah, I mean, or if not, if you have more, put them on VCS. Let's play. Let's go. That'd be great. I love all this stuff. I love all the discovery. I love playing all these things. Like and finding new ways of playing these games, and also the imagination of some of the engineers and programmers like Michael Hayes that have been making these homebrew games and pushing hardware and getting them to do things that no one ever, even back in the 80s, they never thought that the system would be able to do these things, and yet these guys are figuring it all out. That's cool. It's cool stuff. Michael says he just does in television, which is cool. Like nice. It's awesome. It's awesome stuff. It's awesome stuff. So, but anyway, before my nose like just closes up, I gotta roll. So, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for yet another awesome night of retro talk here on Calling Out Retro Gamers. Keep your eyes peeled. Ed over here got all sorts of cool stuff going on his channel. We got the Evercast on Saturday, and of course he's got all sorts of other things that drop on the Calling Out Retro Gamers channel here. Lots of Steam Deck stuff. I will be headed back to the arcade sometime this Memorial Day weekend. It will happen. If it's not on Saturday, it will happen during the 3 days that we are off, and I will make sure that I do that. It's going to be a triple threat. We're going to do three games in a row, and then have it be one big video, and then we're gonna get right back to our regular scheduled league.
And then maybe so I'll say this: if we don't have a guest lined up next time, then we will start Completion Quest here.
Yes, that also will happen.
Yeah,
true.
I think that's good. And then we've also thrown out there too that we might like do one of like Rich's like retro restorations. While we're chatting up. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that as a crossover. And by the way, check out those on his channel too, because it's really neat to see if the stuff survives or not.
Yeah, that would be a cool thing if they could try to make something else work. They get another core, because I know that there's a licensed core that you have to use for some of those games to work. That'd be cool.
What is Fubar? Other than one,
I think it's one of his. I want to say it's either one of his games or a in television homebrew.
Oh, okay. I need to check it out then.
Yeah. So very cool, very cool. Yes, thank you guys. Nice night to everyone. Thanks again for all of that stuff.
Heck yeah.
Awesome. Everyone's coming in saying thanks and all that kind of stuff. Yes. Oh yeah. No, of course. And thank you, Phantom and all of the rest of the people that were in the chat. That are Good Times Club members that were here. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Chris Westerman was in here. We had all sorts of fun people. Thank you guys so much. And you'll be hearing from me too. Also, you'll be hearing from me by the end of the month. On a little live chat action.
Ooh. But yeah, thanks everyone in the chat's been booming tonight. This is why me and Rich do this, other than staying in touch. And we love it. We didn't even get to some of the other topics, but that's cool though, because we'd rather talk to you all. So
that's it. That's right. Oh, Splatoon 79. That's Michael's game.
Oh,
NT Home Brew. So if you guys are interested in checking this stuff out, definitely check that out. DJC, if you're still here, Splatoon 79 homebrew, and this guy made it. So that'd be kind of cool. DJC, I'm sure Michael knows, but if in case he doesn't, DJC does television stuff every week on his channel on Monday nights. Astro Smash Mondays is what he calls that show. There's a lot of really cool stuff, and he does talk homebrew on there. If I'm not mistaken, he does that with Papa Pete and Jeff from Go Game Go every Monday, talking about all sorts of cool stuff there. So definitely go check that out.
I think I got Papa Pete's theme song stuck in my head now. Every time
man,
you
Papa
say
Pete's
it.
the was it the retro gaming retro rebel club or something like that. Oh man, that's they're good. Those guys are good times. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time here on Calling All Retro Gamers. See you guys.
Calling all retro gamers.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.